Where do you go to find parrots and dolphins and sea lions, camels and tigers? Where do you go to have lots of adventure and picnics and great big surprises? It's the African Lion Safari, with lions and tigers and bears. It's the African Lion Safari. It's scary, but nobody cares.
Your all-inclusive safari ticket covers all shows and attractions except rides. Drive through the Lion, Tiger and Bear Reserve. See the Dolphin and Sea Lion Show. The Parrot Circus and Pets Corner. Ride the Safari Railway. Take a helicopter joy flight. There are picnic areas, a self-serve cafe and restaurants. The African Lion Safari Warragamba Dam. Around the world adventure that won't cost the earth.
It's the African Lion Safari. It's scary, but nobody cares.
Being around animals all my life, obviously that's a very unique and fun thing. It brings you pleasure and comfort and a million laughs also. Just the variety of animals too is a great thing, and like all of us, they're all individual animals, and you don't treat them all the same, but you spend absolutely hours and hours with them all the time. Back in those days, we were travelling 6 different towns a week, and we had a teacher on the circus with us, so all my family and cousins, we all went to school with a ticket box, which sold the tickets, so through the day it was the school wagon, and at night time sold the tickets. In the bull and circus, you start off young with your animal career. My first thing working in the ring was with my older brother. We had a pony, a goat, a Dalmatian dog and a chimpanzee act, where each individual animal would be on the back of the pony at different times and that. So that was my first introduction. About 5 or 6 was the introduction into the ring. My mother's name was Cleo. She was an absolutely amazing lady, and a lot of people would tell you that. When she joined the circus, the only place for her to live was in my grandfather's, the front of the truck. So my mum had to sort of change into circus costumes for the first 3 months until there was room on the circus for her to move into a caravan. Amazing story here is when my mother and father got engaged, my mother said to my father that she wouldn't marry him until Dad could afford to get his own caravan on the show. And they were engaged for 14 years. So that alone, it was just a fantastic thing. My father had a bad accident in a truck unloading the circus equipment up in Queensland. This is early in 1960, and they were unloading the circus train, and my father was in a truck with a lot of the animal cages on the back, and he actually drove the truck into an oncoming express train, which absolutely destroyed the truck, and my father was trapped inside. And obviously back in those days there wasn't the things like the paramedics and safety and that there is today. And one of Dad's favourite elephants at the time was a bull elephant called Gandhi. And with Dad's screams coming out of the cabin of the truck, the elephant Gandhi actually went down to the wrecked truck and actually pulled the truck apart and actually got my father out of the truck. And this was witnessed by about 100 people, which they were all absolutely amazed, but they said if Gandhi hadn't pulled my father out of there, they don't know how they would have ever got him out of that wreck. We were called up to do a April Fool's Day joke, and it was a jumbo under the harbour bridge. and this is associated with Qantas and a radio station in Sydney. And of course the stunt was they were going to fly a jumbo under the harbour bridge. So we had a jumbo, the elephant's name was Peggy, and we loaded Peggy on a barge at Balmain with a tugboat, and then we proceeded up to Sydney Harbour, and then everyone was obviously waiting and looking for this jet. Riding the elephant was actually a Qantas pilot, and he had a microphone set up, so he was calling the approach to the bridge and so forth, and that which was relayed onto the radio. And then of course it was revealed as an April Fool's joke where people saw a jumbo, yes, going under the bridge, Sydney Harbour Bridge, but of course it was Peggy the elephant. Dad thought it might be an easier thing than, you know, travelling the animals every day, and we're all in caravans and moving every day. So Dad thought it'd be a lot easier thing to have the animals just in one location to start with, and then, you know, we sort of born and bred in the circus. So we went from the hospital to the caravan, where that's all that we knew. And then when we came to a place near Warragamba, Wallachia, that's where we actually first settled, and the house is still out there now where we went from the caravan into the house. And for us it was so, it's so weird to go into a house for many years in the caravan, and things just as turn the tap on and there's water and a loo. And these things, it was very scary to us. There's no doubt about that. But it was a big thing. I would have been about 10. The only time we'd ever been to a sort of house was maybe odd time in Melbourne or Sydney at someone that my father knew, and we might have went round there in the afternoon, and we just, you know, we'd be in a house and we'd be staring at things in the house and just thought how different, you know, people lived. The African Lion Safari started operation in 1968 and went right through to 1991, where the park was closed then, and now it's very soon going to be another new housing development up there, part of Warragamba now.